Hello, hello, precious. Frida Darcy and Patricia O'Connor, and I am so glad to be back. Our little issues have had me on the ropes for a day or two, but it's my belief that they are behind us now. I didn't work any less in the time that I was away, a couple of days. I actually shot a video on the day that I had planned to, but I shot it about 3 times and never ever was able to finish downloading it. I was getting a mixed signal. It was saying at once that I had used all of my data, and at the same time it was telling me that I had the most data I was allowed. So it just like, well, how do I fix that? And it took me a couple of days to figure that out. But anyway, what I missed being able to show you guys was I had set up at that very spot with the camera set up on a tripod in that very spot. And what I had was my Dawn Redwood. And I've done a slight amount of prune back to it, the way I've been doing the rest of my trees. You can see this was a really thick branch that came out to here. It was extra thick because it had a second Cathedral top coming out of there. You can also see the rollover. Last summer, just before I suffered a little bit of dieback from powdery mildew. I think the tree's going to be fine though. But just before that happened, I was noticing it from a side, like not the Cathedral showing side, but the other side like that. And I was noticing how in just a couple of short years, I was beginning to see the taper that I had originally wanted with this tree, and that I didn't necessarily need to do a Cathedral if I didn't want to. That in just a couple of years, I would be able to have a formal upright that would probably have a lot of character and do some rollover on our woodwork. And so to that end, I have pruned it back to allow us to do that. I didn't want to completely clean this stub off, even though it's too thick, because that is the only thing that's currently growing on that side of the tree. And I think it's important to maintain that energy. What I expect to see is shoots burst out in the armpit of it, which is what you would call the bottom, or the crotch of it, which is what I think you would call the top. And I will pick out when that happens in spring, or when it busts out for spring. Hopefully that I'll see that, and I will probably allow more than one of them to get started, just to make sure there's good energy running up that side of the tree before selecting and pruning the others back and allowing one to be a new branch on that side. That would be more proportionate with what a bottom branch should look like. So yeah, that's kind of, I've already got a new leader pointed up. I'm not 100% sure. When it comes to these little bitty limbs, it's probably alive and good, but it may not be. I think it is. I think I see a bud coming out of the top of it too. That'll either be our new leader, or that's a dead stick that I have pointed straight up. Either way, the first thing that pops out on that side would be the new leader, if not that. This, I'm going to do a quick, this is the coastal oak, my California oak. And you can see I've had to do a lot of, there's that cut back word again. And we're just now starting to come back from that. So earlier I was concerned about that being a top that I didn't really want. I want to see more buds come back in here, but really I don't think I want any of that. What I'm really glad to see was this. This is where our future lies. I could probably cut that back and not lose anything. I don't want the tree to be that much higher. But there are shoots, new, all of these are new within a month, because our winter was that light. But even then, I don't know, what happened there. But even then, we've got new growth coming out and new little buds starting to appear everywhere. They're always that bright pink or bright kind of salmon-y color. And you can also see them coming out all over the trunk. The Japanese black pine is getting greener by the day, and I am still doing my check my soil trick by going down, and it's about time to water. But if I go down an inch, I can still see where the akadama is still damp. So that tells me that as I get down in here, it's not dry yet. But what is cool is the amount of green I see coming back. Yeah, those needles might be getting a little long. I don't even care. That's like when your lost dog comes home, you don't care what they smell like. This tree is recovering from whatever the hell. Oh, it's recovering from an issue I had with the roots this past summer. So I had to repot it and clear away a drainage issue I had at the bottom of the pot, and that was caused by some dieback of the roots, which was caused by an issue that I started. Learn. The 17-year-old is doing great. It's just a beautiful little pine tree. This is 17 years from seed. It came from Jonas at Bonsai Tonight, and absolutely love this tree. Now the oak tree, the cork bark oak, is still putting out little buds everywhere. It's got its little bit of prune back going for it. We're absolutely ready for spring, and so that the main checkup that we lost out on by my dropping the video and not being able to post one was the work that I had done on the Dawn Redwood. And this actually is going to represent a restyle for this tree to a more traditional, formal upright. You know, I have a couple of trees that are seriously formal upright. The Dawn Redwood, I think, is beautiful like that, and I believe that my three cypress trees will not be flat tops. They will be formal uprights as well, and I expect these guys to really be beautiful in that way. Now, to that extent, I'm not really all about some straight up tree. They can have some motion and have some motion to them, but there's something really elegant about the buttress cypress trees going. Now they can also look, I've seen an example of a bald cypress in almost every way imaginable. That's been great, from hollowed out logs with little pieces of the hollowed out log sticking up that made little stalagmite looking features that had limbs coming out of them. I mean, really, really rustic stuff but I think whenever they look an informal or a formal upright like this, they tend to look really leggy and lean and sleek. And I remember sitting in a truck looking at some cypress trees on my parents' property when I was a kid and going, those things actually look like Russian satellites. I always thought Russian rockets just had such beautiful, sleek lines to them, kind of almost Art Deco, and that's the way the buttress look of the cypress trees always reminded me to. I don't know. I guess I'm going on about it, but yeah. The other thing I talked about was while I was doing some clipping, I had quite a bit of resin buildup on my scissors. I guess I had that on my mind too because Nigel Saunders just did a great little video where on the Bonsai Zone where he was rebluing some of his side cutters. He did some really nice work on those. I thought that was pretty cool. So what a little trick I would pass along, you can see I haven't done these two. This is the part where our video would go off. So as you can see, I can move that black stuff with my fingernail a little. It's not tarnish per se. It's resin from the plants. And a good way to get that resin off is with isopropyl alcohol. If you leave that on there, it will eventually stain the metal and leave some sort of deposits, even in stainless, I believe. But isopropyl alcohol will take that off. So that's my in keeping with the season. Jeff at Jeff's Bonsai also just did a little special on tools. That's very informative if you're got a polisher tools frame of mind, like I guess maybe we're all thinking about getting ready for spring and stuff. That's something you might want to check out. He, I believe, is in Australia. And so yeah, that's kind of what's going on there. And I'm just kind of showing you the trees, and everything seems to be having buds on it. The Ponderosa, these guys are always a light colored lime green, and that's just their color. If you expect a hard, Japanese black pine green color out of them, you won't get that. But that doesn't. But that's the way these guys look, and it seems to be at a really good place right now. I've gotten its balance down to where it goes longer without water than I would even think, trying not to water it. But I've started just not to go on an amount of days, but basically I'm going more on what I see on close examination, and I'm starting to really learn about that more than just go, well, it's been X number of days and it hadn't rained. Just look at the soil, and after a while you start to get a feel for what the damp soil looks like and what super dry soil looks like. And hopefully you get a feel for what that looks like before you get a feel for what a super dry tree looks like. That's totally different. For instance, this guy, if I see little shoots coming out and they're the same salmon color that are in the oak, is the same way when it has those little shoots coming out. If it needs water, those will go limp. Those will actually just go limp. And you catch that, and an hour later it will be as if that didn't happen. Now, as if that didn't happen, my training always taught me that what you do to the foliage like that from lack of watering, you've probably done worse to the microscopic root tips, which are the first things to go when they're backing off the water. Meanwhile, I'm showing you the Japanese black pine. It's getting greener all the time. This tree is in, this is a Japanese 75-year-old Japanese cork bark oak black pine, and it is just getting, I'm just starting to see more and more green come out. This year we won't be doing any needle plucking. We will not be doing decandling. We're just going to let it do what it needs to do for a couple of years, and we're going to feed it as needed, and just watch it and let it bounce back. I didn't know that you weren't supposed to decandle a cork bark black pine every year, so that was something else I did in combination with my little drainage issue. So, but I just keep looking back at it because I'm really happy to see. I'm really happy to see it in a well and truly in a state of recovering. Sometimes you see little green tips come out and you go, yeah, fingers crossed, I really like that. But everything seems to be pushing out more and more, and like in 3 days, I can definitely see the difference from 3 days ago and from 3 days before that. So, yeah, yay! I'm really happy with. I'm really happy that I think that I'm feeling a lot better about my Japanese black pine ×3. well, times 4. They're all pretty happy right now. I didn't have the issues that I had. I've got some 3rd-year needles coming off my little ones, but that's just 3rd-year needles. We're not really concerned with that. There's plenty of new growth on those. Tom over at Clip and Grow Bonsai for Seniors was saying maybe I could come up with a figurine to put underneath my Ponderosa pine from the series, from the TV series that I made mention of. And I was thinking to that end, maybe instead of doing that, I don't know how much I'm into figurines, maybe to that end, I'll just name this one. This one from now on is going to be, this is the Ponderosa pine. It was purchased the same time I purchased the one behind me. It came from the same grower, cultivator. It also came from the same area, probably the same elevation. It's, I think, 25 years old, 26 years old, something like that. And it's my show hen, and it's going to be Hoss. From now on, this is Hoss. So Hoss. So that's what we will name the little Ponderosa. Its name is Hoss. Now the bougainvillea is looking a little yellow. That's because it's been 40 degrees the last couple of nights. I could have brought it in and enjoyed the tree because it's one of the few indoor bonsais that I have, but not really thinking about it. It looks that yellow. I could bring it in tonight and the next couple of nights, and it would probably get a little greener. But I would also be, every time I take it up, I break off the little roots that are coming out of the bottom. Bougainvillea roots are like glass. I've had people say that when they were repotting them, they had root issues, and they talked about how fragile they were. No, they're just always like that. That wasn't necessarily an issue. You were either, if you cup them to try to protect the soil in them, you'll break the ones that touch your hand, basically. And every time you do that, you'll break off whatever you come in. They are like glass fragile. So that's that. The last thing I want to talk about before we go is I have started a Facebook page that's called, guess what it's called? It's called the Bonsai Balcony. And basically the page is so I can have or others can have a place who have balconies or small growing spaces to show off. I would encourage people to join. I would encourage people to go. I would encourage people to submit their photos of their trees and of their growing spaces, whatever they be. The more people that are a part of it, the better it'll be. And maybe at some point there'll be people from around the world who will show us their little terraces and their little balconies. And I think that's empowering. It's empowering to show people that they can take a small amount of space and get an enormous amount of joy in it. So yeah, if you are a person who does the Book of Faces, I'm not doing Facebook as much as I used to, but in my personal life. But I did start this page. It's on Facebook. It's called the Bonsai Balcony. I don't know how many, I don't know if I'm going to drop videos there or not. That wasn't really the purpose of it. Whenever I shoot a video, right now with us still being less than 500 subscribers, I'm basically posting those to several Facebook pages just to get the views. I definitely noticed in the beginning when I didn't do that, they got half as many views to start with. So that helps them to get traction, and I probably still need to be doing that for a while. So when you see my videos and Bonsai Masterminds or Bonsai of the World or Friends of Bonsai or No Rules Bonsai, that's me doing that. When it comes to my page, I'm really hoping that most of the posts will be from our members. And as like for instance, I've started a thing where I will go into the header and type in Bonsai Balcony China. And I want to see if somebody's got a nice terrace of bonsai trees out there. That would be material that I would be interested in seeing. Or Bonsai Balcony Spain, you know, I mean, that would be that too. You can just get a glimpse of, you know, with nothing more than a small terrace and somebody's creativity, you can really actually get a feel for the area, you know, and what it's like when people who are enjoying their trees are enjoying their little oasis wherever they are, no matter how big they are. All you need is a nice space for yourself to be at peace, and a place for a few trees, and you're off and running, as they say. A quick look at our California redwood tray, brownie tray full of seeds and cones. We so far have nothing. Today I am going to take my second round of seeds and sprinkle over the top, and we'll just start watering those in with the rest of them. And I'm just going to continue to do that throughout the spring or summer until something either grows or rots. Yeah, and on that note, so yes, today is our Saturday drop. I'll probably do another drop tomorrow because we've got some catching up to do, and I'm glad I got my little issues taken care of. Sorry I was gone so long. No, I wasn't falling off the face of the work. I was falling off the face of the earth. I was still trying to shoot videos. I just wasn't getting through with them. It was weird. I would look up and the screen would be blurry. And that was usually like 15, 20 minutes in. Like right now, we're 21 minutes in. Imagine me just looking up and the video camera's off. So, yeah. I was like, wow, I didn't shoot anything. But anyway, all that aside, we've got most of our issues worked out. They were probably self-inflicted, like most of my technical issues. People have been working on computers long enough that they have them kind of figured out. Rather than smacking the thing around and screaming and cussing and spinning in circles, it's just like, it's probably you. It's probably something you're doing. But yeah, some of both of that. I throttled back my data to still more than I've ever used, and that still affected my ability to make videos. I don't get it, but yeah, it just did. So it wouldn't allow me to even fix it till the next billing cycle. Meanwhile, I was in disbelief about that and kept trying to do other things, like delete videos I wanted to keep, deleting apps I was just trying to free up space, because that's what the warning on my end says. You don't have enough space to do any of that stuff. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. That was just more than you probably wanted to know about what my issues were, but they weren't enthusiasm. You know, I'm still here jumping up and down, doing that thing that I know to do to try to make it happen, and it wasn't happening. And it's just like, what the hell? So, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Frida appreciates you. If you have a second, go check out the Bonsai Balcony on the Facebook page. Maybe drop a video or drop a picture of your trees or your spot or your space. Or if you know somebody that has a little space or something, or you know, something like that, encourage them to have a look. And thanks a lot, and I will see you guys probably mañana.